experiencing prejudice and experiencing his call to do what he needed to do in order to stand up for his race. The driver called the police and had Rosa arrested. And the next morning, Mr. E.D. Nixon, who was a civil rights activist, called Martin and asked if he would organize a one-day bus boycott of the Montgomery buses, not knowing this was going to prolong. They will request that the blacks not ride the buses that day. But this was a busy time for Martin. He had just become a father, and their first child, Yolanda, was born. Life was really busy for him at this time. So now, as we do fast forward, we're going to lead up to the Montgomery bus caught, and also, sadly to say, his assassination.
Wow. It was rough for me, but I knew I had to help. The other ministers and I spoke to our congregation and told them about Rosa Parks and asked them to boycott the buses. The boycott was a success. Black refused to ride the buses. Montgomery started its own bus boycott. The group that organized the bus boycott was called the Montgomery Improvement Association. I was chosen as the president. The boycott will not end after one day. The boycott will last until blacks were able to sit wherever they please on the bus. Yeah. I was arrested with many others for my involvement with the boycott. Late that night, when I went at a meeting, a bomb was thrown at my house. I was fearful for my family, but everyone was fine. Although I never knew for sure who threw it. I always thought it was a white man. I thought he did this because he didn't like what I did for blacks. The Montgomery bus caught was so interesting that I wrote a book about it. The Stride Towards Freedom. I was in a New York department store signing an autograph when a black woman asked me if I was Martin Luther King Jr. When I told her that I was, she quickly pulled a letter opener from her purse and stabbed me. It was a serious injury and I was rushed to the hospital. If I had moved the wrong way, coughed or sneezed, it could have been fatal. I had a 3-hour surgery. I asked that woman who stabbed me not to be jailed, but rather that she be treated at a mental hospital. With the others, black leaders, we formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, known as the SCLC, to fight Jim Crow laws. I spoke all over the United States. I wanted all unfair laws changed. I wanted black to register and to vote. In early 1960, I left my position as the pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church and returned to Atlanta to work with my father. I knew this would give me more time to work for the civil rights of blacks. In 1963, I led a march in Birmingham, Alabama, and it became very violent. Policemen used fire hoses and dogs to limit the demonstration. It appeared that the police were more violent than the demonstrators. They even harmed small children who was in the march. I urge black to meet violence with nonviolence when something bad happened to them. Jim Crow lost in Birmingham. Blacks got to drink from the same fountain, eat at the same lunch counters, share the same bathroom, and businesses will begin to hire blacks. I was involved in many other marches, including the biggest one in Washington, D.C. There were 200,000 blacks and whites who marched along with me. I was standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and there I gave my famous "I had a dream" speech. I also met with President Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson. These presidents believed in getting rid of the law that treated blacks unfairly. Johnson helped push Civil Rights Act through Congress. I had heard about the sanitation workers having a strike. I agreed to lend my support to the sanitation workers. When assured of their unity and commitment to the cause of nonviolence, I came back for another march, scheduled for April the 5th. I remember getting ready to go out to dinner that evening on April the 4th, 1968. As I stepped out of my room, out of my hotel room, and as I made my way toward the balcony, and as I was looking over the balcony,
Chief!